So, I'm going to tell you a story. Once upon a time, a king was sitting next to someone named Gopal, and the king asked Gopal, "Do you think anybody, what a cold night, do you think anyone would be able to stand out in the pond with no material, just standing there all night and survive for any amount of money?" And Gopal said, "I don't know, probably not, it's really cold." The next day, the king went out and got a microphone and announced to a bunch of people that, "Is there anybody who would be willing to get $1,000 to stand outside in a pool for a whole night with no material?" And then one guy came up and said, "Yes, I would be willing to. I'm very poor. I've got not enough money. I could be willing to try that." And then the king said, "Okay." So the next night, the king told the guy to stand outside, and then the guy went outside, stood up into the pool, and waited.
Neck deep in the water, right?
Neck deep in the water all night. Okay? So then, the next morning, the guy was trembling cold but survived, and he came out to the king and told the king, "Mister, can I have my $1,000 now? I survived." And the king said, "You survived? How did you survive?" And Gopal was listening. So the guy said, "Though I didn't have any material and I was freezing outside in the cold, neck deep in the water, the waves brushing on my neck, I watched the stars, and seeing how bright the stars were glowing, they seemed like they looked so warm. These stars made me feel so nice and at home, and I used the stars." So then the king was thinking. Then he went up to the guy and told the guy, "Really? I won't give you $1,000. You cheater." And he said, Why did I cheat?" And then the king said, "You weren't supposed to use any material, no jacket, no blanket, no pillow, no nothing. But you used the warmth of the stars. You used the warmth of the stars to survive." And the guy said, No, that doesn't count." And the king said, "Yes, it does, so you don't get $1,000. Bye-bye, go away." So the guy went away. Then, after a while, Gopal came up to the king and told the king, "Sir, would you like to come over for dinner tonight?" And then the king said, "Sure, what's for dinner?" And then he said, "Nice hot biryani." The king said, "Oh yes, then sure, I'm coming for dinner." So then the next night, Gopal prepared biryani and everything, and he was ready to cook. And the king sat down on the table, and Gopal said, "Now you just wait here, watch something, and I'm going to be cooking the biryani." And the king said, "Oh, okay, any time amount, I'm ready to eat." So he waited. Like half an hour passed. The king said, "Really? Is it done yet? How long is it going to take?" And then Gopal said, "Well, to make it tasty and yummy, it needs more time, right?" And then the king goes like, "Oh, yes, to make it delicious, okay." So then after maybe an hour and a half, the king was very, very bored and exhausted and told Gopal, "Gopal, it's late at night. What are you doing? The biryani isn't cooking properly, is it?" Gopal said, "It's cooking well." Then, after 4 hours, the king got too angry and came up into the kitchen and told Gopal, "Gopal, you're probably not cooking it right. Everything is wrong." And then Gopal said, "Really? Why?" So then the king walked into the kitchen, and he saw the biryani in a large black pot, cooking at the very top of the room, hanging from some threads. Then, at the low bottom of the room, was a small fire. Then Gopal said, "See, it's cooking. Still needs time to fully warm up." And the king said, "Are you nuts? Put the bowl closer to the fire. Why is it so high and the fire is below? Then the biryani is never gonna cook. It's gonna stay freezing." And then Gopal said, "Really?" Then the king said, "Yeah, you're not even using the fire." And then Gopal said, "Okay, does that mean if a pot of biryani so high on the ceiling isn't getting cooked by a fire so low on the floor, that also means that the stars so high on the ceiling can't be giving any such help to a man standing in a pool way below?" And then the king understood, and he smiled. And then the next day, he announced to the guy to come back to his castle. And he gave the guy his $1,000 and said, sorry for not giving it to you the other day. It was foolish of me. Here's your money. And then the guy was happy, the king was happy, Gopal was happy, everyone was happy. The end. Thanks.